The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everybody, welcome to this first BizSmart webinar of 2015. I'm Caroline Strictly from BizSmart. We will be running a series of weekly webinars aimed to provide advice and share knowledge on key business topics and specialist areas, as such as employee and pensions, social media training and finance. You will receive feedback questionnaire after the webinar, so please could you fill that in and send it back to us, and it will ask you for suggestions of future topics. Today I would like to introduce our speaker, Steve Parker from International Company Development, a member of BizSmart and an expert in export sales and marketing, who will today unravel how potential customers more than ever are accessible through routes to market. Please take an opportunity throughout the webinar to post any of your questions in the question function, and we will answer them at the end of the session. Right, Steve, over to you.
Hi everybody, good afternoon. Thanks for sharing your hot noodle with me for the first of our webinar sessions, series of which Caroline's just explained. Yeah, I'm a business advisor with BizSmart. It's been a pleasure and continues to be to work with 25 or 30 of you at the moment and enjoy sharing your progress. Today we unashamedly started on sales and marketing, because without either or both you're never going to get to where you want to get to, and the idea was to open your minds and your thoughts to some ideas that are working both in my own business and many of my clients' businesses. I suppose simply put that sales and marketing has changed dramatically over the last 12 months, 2 years particularly, even from the days where we used to go out and reel off the same sales pitch to everybody we met, and sometimes wondered why it worked and sometimes how it didn't. The idea of today is to use a fictitious company. Any resemblance to your own is purely accidental, and you're definitely, the fictitious company definitely isn't one of my clients. It just makes it a little bit easier to do. If you put yourself in someone else's shoes, then by the end of the session it'll have hopefully opened your thoughts to some different ways of selling. Because if you keep selling and marketing in the same way to the same people, you're not going to grow as fast as we'd like you to.
Right, Steve, I'll click on the webcam now so you can use your slides.
Okay, you can check details of what I do as a day job and the companies I work with on BizSmart on the BizSmart website, and increasingly over the next few weeks. Some more background information on me, which I won't spend too long on, but 30 years successfully in inverted commas, because we always want to do more, selling primarily products, but some services to lots of markets worldwide, and a healthy amount of time spent in all of those exciting looking places, many of which actually are, and experience running UK limited companies, PLCs, an American owned company, and since 2004 2 companies of my own without the benefit of a parachute or a safety net. Bottom line, frankly, it's just a bit of blagging, but if you ever need me to speak and help you with any aspects of UK sales, marketing, strategy stuff, BizSmart is a good place to start, because some of the advice and guidance you can get within your package for free anyway on your phase 2 stuff. So multi-channel USPs, routes to market, new thoughts, new ways of finding people. It's easier to pick a fictitious example of what we're trying to do, so I've made up a company, and if we can spend just a minute or two on you pretending this is your company. We called it Steve's Trendy Bedroom Furniture, TB for short. They make and design unique, trendy adult and children's bedroom furniture, beds, wardrobes. They're targeting it at a higher demographic, if you want to look at it in those terms. You wouldn't buy it from MFI, you might not buy it in your local showroom particularly. It's for people who want something different. They want to show off the interior of their house or their building, and they want to be a little bit better and different. Because they've been well advised, they've been through a BizSmart program, they've got a suitably good website. They haven't confessed their prices so their competitors can't find out all their information. They've gone for exceedingly thick and glossy literature because that supports their brand and it endorses the fact that they don't do anything by cutting corners. And they think their USPs, that overused, slightly dated expression that we've got now, are that they specialise in individual design, everything's handmade. You can have almost any colour you like. You can have almost any colour wood you like. They import Brazilian hardwood just to make it look lovely. And they give 10-year guarantee and personal service. And they think that makes them ever so good, as indeed it would if they were a real company. So you get the idea. Trendy bedroom furniture, almost anything you like, made in the UK, and they export worldwide, for sure. And they traditionally thought that they just needed some superior retailers, or they thought that they might be able to find the odd person who would find them on their website and deal with them specifically. And then for further away places, and that could even include Manchester, doesn't have to be overseas, they thought that they might need a distributor, somebody that they could sell to. But this is where their USPs kind of get slightly more complicated, because the selling point to intermediaries and the benefit to intermediaries is slightly different to if you're selling to end users. So let's flick on another slide and see how you would change the benefits, and you would change your marketing materials, and you would change the way you pitch it, if you like, to different routes to market, and how, because of the internet and all the other tools you've got for finding out about people these days, you can use multi-channel routes to market, multi-channel marketing, and multi-channel sales. So there are two of these slides, just to pick on a few of them and to talk you through it. And I'll remind you occasionally of the USPs you thought that Steve's Trendy Bedroom Furniture Company had at the start. The obvious way, and the first one to pick up on these times, is your end customers. You used to have to use intermediaries before because you couldn't find them. You couldn't find out enough about them to sell to them. You couldn't find out where they live. You couldn't find out what they like for tea, how much they spend on such things, the value of their house. Whether it's the UK or whether it's any country in the world, of course you can pretty much find that anyway. And the strategic approach, which BizSmart will obviously tell you, is to narrow down your demographic profile of the people you're looking for, decide your limitations and your expectations in terms of both geographical coverage and the rest of it. And you can do that almost in any country in the world as well too nowadays. You can find out where the rich people live, if you like, that would be an ideal candidate for Steve's Trendy Bedroom. You could find out whether they've got kids, what age they are, and how you do it. The benefit, of course, to selling direct to your end customers is that you can maintain all of that customer service. You can sell it the way you want to sell it. You can offer all of the help and support they ever need, and you can maximize your profit because you don't have an intermediary along the way. And you can, as I say, fine-tune it down to specific areas and specific people. The problem for most small and micro businesses is that it's a huge world, it's a huge market even in the UK, and you can, unless you narrow it down, you're likely to drown it. But the best chance of retaining your intellectual property, your branding and everything else that you set it up for originally is to target end customers directly. But your marketing costs and your sales costs are likely to be much more expensive just because of the numbers of people and the amount of dashing around you've got to do. That's kind of typical as I sneaked into this webinar with 30 seconds to spare. And you know that keeping appointments and meeting people at the time that they wanted to is increasingly difficult. So let's move it back a little bit, if you like, and think about selling to retail shops and fit-out companies. Retail shops, maybe the USPs that you thought you had are slightly different to them. Maybe the benefits to them are that they've got a top-of-the-range product that they couldn't get from anywhere else. Maybe that they've got a company that can be entirely flexible. Maybe they can get a different range of customers into their shop. Maybe they can sell lower cost products on the back of having a really superior brand. Maybe they like something different. Maybe they don't like selling product that comes flat pack or that comes from overseas, and that you and your company and your family and your manufacturing and all the reasons you started your company are the main reasons for doing it. And the fact that you're giving them a preferential price on it to enable them to find all of those end customers gives them a good return on their investment. They like the fact that you've trained them in all of the aspects, and they like the fact that on a really big project you'll respond desperately fast, and you'll even go with them to spec out their customers' requirements while they're training. So the USPs and the routes to market and the type of retail operations you want for the company are a slight variation, or sometimes a major variation, on the methods you might use to find the end customers. And if you've got less retail stores, it's easy to handle them. It doesn't drown your internal systems, and you can motivate them to promote it and actively and professionally sell it on a daily basis. Fit-out companies are used increasingly by busy people, and increasingly overseas, where sometimes you can buy properties which are just the outside shell and have absolutely nothing inside it. So the people who do the interiors, combined with interior designers, combined with people who will take your trendy bedroom furniture and install it and fit it and make sure that even from a distance, and use an ongoing thing that can even be further away in the UK, they can make sure that they comply with your fine-tuning, your no cutting corners, your absolute guarantees. They can almost buy into the guarantees and the quality that you're doing, as well as the nice customer service that you're offering. And when they're competing for 40 or 50 superior houses or individual villas, they can turn into your salespeople. They can say, you don't want to just put any furniture in your bedroom. Do you realise you can have it in Brazilian mahogany? Do you realise it can have it in the most colourful designs that are going to help your kids relax and to sleep at night? It's going to turn it into a feature room in your house, and with skill and craftsmanship, it's the best option. Imagine the kudos you'd get if your kids invite the neighbours' kids into their bedroom and show them what great design you've got. And the fact that they don't put splinters in their bum when they're playing. And they actually enjoy being in the bedroom, which for those of you who brought up kids realise that if you can leave the kids in the bedroom for a few hours, it gives you some peace and quiet. So you probably can't put that in the literature for the design of your furniture, but the fit-out companies and the retail people might decide it's a selling point for what they're doing. So once again, different benefits for different routes to market, and you could find out relatively easily, or with the help that you get through BizSmart, suitable fit-out companies of a suitable size. Steve's Trendy Bedroom Furniture Company isn't desperately snobbish, but they wouldn't be the fit-out and the joyness to fit out 50 council houses, because you're not going to compete on price, and you're not trying to compete with imported furniture from overseas. you still want to maintain high level, high quality, and a certain price margin and a certain price level. But again, all of a sudden you can, you're talking to the fit out people, and another benefit to them is it's so much easier to fit. Everything's cut to size. They don't have to lacquer it or spray it or paint it. And you can develop a whole heap of benefit points to sell to each one of these, or to market it accordingly, and focus and target your marketing on a sector base, or a geographical base, or a person base to make you do it. And for your own companies, you can split that up. You don't just need a one-size-fits-all marketing and sales plan. Remember that you're selling benefits, not features, and therefore you'll get faster buy-in and more interest, because people aren't turning off from your proposition before they even turn on in the first place, which means you're not wasting your time. For further away places and for overseas, the original route on international trade for lots of years, and some people still believe it to be true, is I just need a good distributor. I just need a good distributor who can sell to all of the places that we've currently covered. And to some extent that can be true, but the selling and marketing points, again, to a distributor can be fundamentally different. It could be the only UK product they've had. It could be the really high service levels. It could give them access to contractors, to interior designers. It could be giving them access to furniture stores. It could be giving them access to mompreneurs. It could be giving them access to joiners, traders, fit-out companies. It could give them access to commercial buildings and hotels and a higher level of project that they've ever had before. So it's finding out what motivates the distributor, finding out whether they're just a return on investment, and then adapting your benefits to it. Sometimes it could be that they go around and your expectation is that you only get 4 or 5 projects a year out of them, but they use that to get some of their other products, to get them in front of people, to tease them and to improve their own credibility and their own professional status, because they're handling the best UK product for trendy bedroom furniture, and they can also use their own marketing methods and access all of those people that you want to do. Distributor agreements are a separate issue. The simplest way of describing it is you can protect your IP, you can protect your intellectual property and all of the selling points through legal agreements. But what you essentially want from a distributor is someone who believes in your product and you as much as you do, and who will actively, effectively and professionally sell it and promote it on a daily basis, so that it generates interest with you and you work closely with them as an extension to your sales team. As this webinar is half an hour, 40 minutes, you can see some of the others. You can have an agent. The difference between an agent and a distributor is that you sell through an agent, but you sell to a distributor. Agent would identify customers, generate inquiries, of which you then pay them commission on conclusion of the sale. Distributor buys off you, would typically hold spares, would typically display your beds and your furniture in their showroom, would typically invite clients into them, and would pay you for it, so that you don't have the financial consideration of dealing with multiple end customers, fit-out companies and the others. Wholesale and bulk importers could just be interested, because you could be selling them all or part of their all or part of their range. It can give you a low margin alternative. It can give you a higher volume situation. And again, if you need higher volume to put through your factory to keep your costs down, that's another way. Overseas product manufacturers is another one. You might find somebody selling bathroom equipment, bathroom furniture, other types of interior products that are aimed at the same demographic of end users and the same target market. And your USP and the benefit to them is it can add it to their range, it can make it more interesting, it can increase their own marketing spread. Changing your marketing and your USPs and your benefits to different sectors of the market. With probably less than 10 minutes left, we'll flick on a few. Of course, the next slide shows you how you can target all of your end customers directly. If you've got the time, money and expertise to do it, but you've also got routes to other markets, maybe you could design and develop a range using your capabilities for other UK manufacturers to call their own. And you can still make margin on it, and you can still help them to sell it. And that can be a real benefit. It's really difficult if you're a manufacturer to keep coming up with new products, to come up with variations on new products. And if some nice person comes along and offers to help you to do that for you, or own brands it, you could be an own branded version for a UK manufacturer who might have their own sales team, might have a larger marketing budget than you, might have people who cover different areas of the market, do exhibitions and do other stuff. And then the bottom one is just UK clients that sell overseas, people who are in front of architects, interior designers, visit markets more often, or can keep you in front of those people so that when that exclusive, high-end, interior, large villa, large apartment, millionaire's place that believes in providing the best for all of their kids needs to be able to find you, Steve's trendy bedroom furniture just happens to be in front of them and is in their memory, and they only want to come to you, and you'd be insulting them if you didn't charge them enough money, which obviously increases your margin. So you're accessing multi-channels, you're varying what you thought were your USPs to adapt to your market and to do it. And my contention and my argument is that you can do that with almost any company, and it's worth the effort if you do it. That kind of methodology is currently working on 2 companies that I run myself, 2 that I'm non-exec director of, and the clients that I'm working with. It's teasing people to think, I'd really like to work with this company. They're working in my best interests, not just their own, and they're telling me things that are of interest. So let's just summarize all of that, if we can, to use the remaining benefits with the obvious answer before and after that. What we've dashed through here in half an hour typically takes about 3 hours, and we can tease out more information individually for your company as we do it, or we can do it a group one if you want to do it. So the summary of what we've whisked through is consider all of your options for marketing and selling, not just the traditional way. You could be missing opportunities, you could be missing potential sales because you and I don't buy things in the same way as we always did. We buy things online now. We read about things using social media. We go into different stores. We research more than we ever did. So expect your customers to do the same, and expect your potential customers to need to warm to the fact that you're something different. So you have to be cleverer and more innovative in the way you sell it and the marketing, and find out what works for them, and find out where they look, and find out where them and their friends hang out. Doesn't mean you lose sight of who you originally designed your products to in the first place. Consider doing sales and marketing differently. Don't be afraid to try something new. If it doesn't work, you can always change it afterwards. Selling the benefits, not the features. Hopefully we've demonstrated that you don't reel off the same sales pitch to everyone. You spend quite a bit of time before you even sit in front of somebody, or before you even target them, what the benefits to that company is. Use your imagination, talk to similar people, and make it entirely relevant to that sector. Otherwise, you'll think you're being really busy, you'll think you've targeted 500 people, and I don't go along with the fact that in certain marketing methods to get a 2 or 3% return is really good. To me, that's 97 or 98% wasted effort. Be a little bit cleverer on it. Expect the challenge to be huge, but the opportunities are too. The more people you target, the cleverer you are, the faster you can grow your company, and don't be put off by the disappointment. Just constantly fine-tune and perfect the methodology you use and the ideas. And when you're driving home at night and you think of a really good idea, write it down and use it later on. You'd expect the next column to be put up. Use trusted expertise to provide clarity, insight, and to do some of the work for you. People seem a little bit more comfortable with it. My role as a BizSmart advisor is to cut through the fog that will descend over you during your business some days of the week, and usually on the last Friday in every month. Use outside people to look into your business, to demonstrate how different methods of selling and marketing can work, and to do it, and to tie in with that. That's part of the package you get, part of the specialists and the wealth of specialists that we got within BizSmart and under the Worcestershire Growth Programme, under your phase 2s or under the strategy sessions that I do with you. We'll inevitably spend quite a bit of time on sales and marketing because it's the lifeblood of your business, and you can fine-tune the finances as you go. Explore, dream and discover. There's a famous Mark Twain saying along those routes. Check it out, have a look at it. Explore, dream, discover, don't regret the things you wish you tried to do. Try them while you have the energy and the enthusiasm to do so. But do it strategically, because whilst the world's become a more accessible place, it's far easier to drown than you ever did before. So strategic, carefully targeted, carefully focused. Don't waste your time on things that aren't going to work. And some plugs for me on the end, which you can always find from the BizSmart website. Anyway, look at my LinkedIn profile. You'll see some of the exciting initiatives I get up to on a daily basis. Some of the companies we're working with, not breaking confidentiality. And if you're thinking of overseas, some of the links on there I'm UK partner for. So some of the stuff we do just to prove credibility with what we've got to do. The most important logo on there, not least because I'm sitting in their offices, is the BizSmart logo, where we're not telling you how to do it, charging lots of money, and sometimes we're confirming what you thought was the right way of doing it. Otherwise, we're contributing ideas and thoughts which should genuinely help your business. Is why most of us do it, so that I don't get into trouble. Those are the contact details on the back. So, multi-channels, USPs, if you still believe in the slogan, adapting your benefits, adapting your selling points, and thinking that all those different routes to market have potential for your goods, your products, and your services. I've finished my part now. Hope you're on to the next level of pudding. We'll open it up to questions, phoning which send an email, send ideas to it.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for that, Steve. Let me have a look to see if we've got any questions. Right, just one question at the moment there. It says, can you, which would you recommend using, an agent or a distributor?
Hey, good one. It depends on how unique or different your product is, and whether you really have the systems in place to sell to hundreds or thousands of end user people. It both has its benefits. If it's a highly technical product, you need your agent to be able to understand technical aspects of it, so that can be quite useful. Sometimes you just prefer for them to take care of all of the creditworthiness and the aspects of the customer, and to have the capability of doing it. So both have their merits. You have to look at them on an individual basis. You'd have a different form of agreement to for agents in some parts of the world and some parts of the country. There are some inherent dangers with agency agreements where they're particularly difficult to get out of. So if the relationship starts to falter, then you just have to be aware of that. But of course you can get that advice from your trusted BizSmart advisor on export, which when you look at all is me. So we can give you standard forms and questions that you need to ask to do it.
Perfect answer. Many thanks then, Steve. That was a great session. I'll be sending out a copy of the presentation with Steve's contact details on there to you all this afternoon. So thank you again very much for joining us, and I hope you join us again next week for our next webinar.